Absolutely, Anant. Absolutely, Anuj. We're expecting a tough session that way, and we're looking at adjournments today at least. Let me go across to Shanta Shree. She's joining us live this morning from the house of the Minister of State for Minority Affairs, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi. Any word from him yesterday or today, Shanta Shree, on how they are going to be countering this allegation that the number of attacks on minorities, attacks on Dalits, attacks on Muslims are only increasing in the country? Cow vigilantism is on the rise despite calls from the Prime Minister. How is Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi and his ministry going to be addressing this in Parliament today? Because we are going to see very, very strong protests.
We have spoken to Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi yesterday, and even today no such statement has come from him yet. But yes, we are trying to get his reaction, the first reaction on Republic. Yes, just as he mentioned that smooth transaction of business, in these 19 sittings, the bills that are still pending in Lok Sabha and in Rajya Sabha, and also the new 16 bills which they are thinking of introducing in this session. Okay, but they are focusing on, apart from opposition strategy, the corner government over these various issues, whether it's lynching, whether it's the agrarian crisis in the country, or demonetization O's, and also the GST rollout. On these issues, they are going to have a clear strategy that they are willing to cooperate in the discussion and debate until and unless there is no stalling of the parliament, which we have seen most of the opposition parties staging protests in the parliament and also stalling the parliament session by going to the well of the house, by storming to the well of the house. By not doing so, that's what they aim to do. In these 19 sittings, what they are aiming at is introducing new bills, whether it's GST related bills, the Citizenship Act, where they want going to give Indian citizenship to the immigrants that are present in India. Also, there are also Banking Amendment Act, where they want to introduce, they want to replace the particular ordinance which empowers Center to RBI to completely take over to settle the bad loan cases. So these are some of the bills they're going to introduce apart from the discussion and debates. We know that TMC had already given a notice over the India-China standoff over Doklam, as well as Congress, who is going to stage protest today over all these issues, whether it's Mansoor, whether it's GST, and also, of course, lynching and all. So they are clearly strategizing their move right now over how to tackle opposition and also conduct a smooth business in the parliament.
All right, let me go across now to Shweta. She's joining us this morning from the house of the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, who has a tough job at hand. He has to reach out. He has to make sure that all ministers, all members of Parliament are on the same page. But that isn't what we usually see, do we, Shweta? Are there strategy meetings within the BJP with the Parliamentary Affairs Minister? And is the Parliamentary Affairs Minister making those personal calls to members of the opposition to let the House function? Are we going to see those meetings between the government and the opposition, the leaders going into a huddle every now and then?
Well, definitely, we are going to see many such meetings today. We saw some of the meetings being conducted yesterday in order to reach out to the opposition party. Smooth functioning of the parliament today. Remember, as many of our colleagues were pointing out, including Shanta Shree, that it's going to be a stormy session, a rather very stormy session for the parliament today, given that the opposition is expected to rake up a number of issues, a slew of issues, including the recent lynchings, the fact that the internal security has been a problem, especially with respect to the standoff with China, and obviously the issue of the attack on Amarnath Yatra pilgrims that we saw in the recent times. So it's expected to be a stormy session. The ruling government is planning to pass a number of bills, or at least introduce a number of bills, including Whistleblower Protection Act, the Motor Vehicle Act, and a couple of others. But what we understand that the opposition parties will be coming together and will not allow any such thing to happen. So it's going to be a stormy session with the present ruling government trying to reach out to a number of opposition parties to ensure that each and every issue with respect to national security, internal affairs will be dealt diplomatically, but we will not see opposition parties putting their guns down.